Now let's have a look onto statistics. Let's go back to 1998. That was the year when I also started teaching mobile communications. I have to say we were all wrong. All the predictions were wrong. We all underestimated wireless communications. So 98, the prediction was, well, in the year 2000 we might have something like 500 million subscribers, maybe then 700, maybe there's an upper limit, we don't know. 2014, we already had more than 7 billion subscriptions, but please be aware this also includes devices, because there's an upper limit in people. If we look back on, well, how many people actually owned a mobile phone? For example, Germany, well, people thought, do I really need this? Less than 20%. Finland, already 60%. Sweden, 53, something like this percent. That was 99. 2005, we already had a penetration of between 70 and 90% in Western Europe. 2009, so 10 years after this graph shows this data, we had more than 100%. 2016, we already had 96% worldwide. So all the predictions, they were simply wrong. What are the numbers today? So the global ICT developments is shown here. That's from the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union. Look this up if you're interested in some more of these graphs. They clearly show you that mobile cellular telephone subscriptions are way more than what we have in fixed networks. So compare the numbers up here with the fixed network, fixed telephone, fixed broadband. Well, telephone, if you have fixed line, it's at least broadband today, the majority. But this is nothing compared to cellular telephone. And quite important, mobile broadband. That means you have real broadband cellular telephone subscription. So that's quite a lot. So, okay, you see, well, the majority of the population has at least one mobile cellular telephone subscription, and almost everyone has active mobile broadband subscription. That's not evenly distributed around the globe. So if we look to mobile cellular subscriptions, we see the so-called developed countries reach now 126%. So that clearly shows that on average we have more than one subscription. Well, just think of, well, I only have one smartphone. Yes, but maybe you have a car, and inside the car you have yet another subscription for the car, for emergency calls, for maintenance, for whatever you need. Or you have a smartphone. Oh yes, there's also the tablet, has also an LTE connection. Oh, my smartwatch also has LTE. And suddenly you have 3, 4, 5 subscriptions. It's a bit different in the so-called developing countries. So we are at 94%. The statistics also show you there are differences if you compare Europe, the Americas, Asia-Pacific regions, Africa, or if you compare the least developed countries with developed and developing countries. So there are still gaps, but you see the numbers are growing. But please be aware that especially for the least developed countries, for the people there, it's way too expensive to have a broadband subscription. Okay, and it's also interesting to look at the coverage depending on the type of the network. So you see quite clearly, let's say 10, 15 years ago, 2G systems, for example GSM, clearly dominated the coverage. Then we have the 3G somehow in between, and today it's quite obvious, LTE or some other advanced systems, they really cover the majority of the population. The curves are flattening, as you see, so I guess we will never reach full coverage, so there's still a gap. Why do we have this gap? Well, think of who pays for base stations, what's the revenue for a network operator, etc., etc. So there are still problems. But you see, the really fast growth of LTE, that was quite interesting. And you will also see, or we can predict some years from now, we will not have 2G or 3G systems anymore. So just some questions and some tasks. Please go to the ITU, check up-to-date figures. You can also look up some figure at 3GPP. And then it's quite interesting. I mean, you see all around the globe network operators rolling out 5G technology. We'll cover them. Try to find out the strategies of the different operators while they migrate towards 5G. What does 5G mean for the operators? And maybe you can also find reasons why we will not have a single common system. You will always see, depending on the operator, depending on the region, different strategies. I also showed you that a 4G higher coverage is flattening way before we reach the world population. Think of reasons for this. There are some real big problems.